Welcome back to Liquid Kernedge.
Wait, Liquid Kernedge, what's going on?
Liquid Kernedge. For our listeners out there that might have heard some of our previous stuff, we were going under the early name of Barguments.
Which was a great name.
It was a great name. It's a tremendous name. Sorry, I'll spare you the Trumpisms with this one. It was a great name, but as it turns out, there was a book and a copyright on it, so before we got too deep with this, we thought we should change our name to something more original and something that was more our style.
Okay. Well, what chose us this name? Because I like it. I like it a lot. Why I like it is probably maybe the same as the reason why you like it. But
well, yeah, it's and you and I spent about an hour and a half in Starbucks on a Sunday morning sober doing this, which is ironic for what the basis of the show is, trying to find the right name. And my last name is Kern, and your last name is Edgeworth, and we decided to make a play on words. Instead of Liquid Courage, we combined our last names for a little Liquid Kernedge. So it's Liquid Kernedge.
Oh, okay.
Liquid
so
Kernedge
represents us both. I like it.
It's a representation of both of us. It still keeps us in line with the topics we want to talk about, the style we want to have, and it's fun, And if you ever get a little nervous in life, have a little Liquid Kernedge, and that should smooth everything right out.
Well, the other thing I like about that name too is you could also have Liquid Carnage.
Oh, that's
so
right.
you have a triple entendre.
Oh, that's true.
But most importantly, I like that it has our names in it. As people get to know us and get our personalities, I want it to represent something that people can relate to on a daily, weekly basis.
Absolutely.
I miss Barguments though, so
I
want to give homage to the people who came up with that term because it's a great term.
They did a great job, and in honor of that, we will have a segment on this show called Barguments where we will pick a random topic and we will debate.
All right.
You and I will go back and forth. We will pick a side, whether we agree with the side or not.
Okay.
We will debate a bargument here on Liquid Kernedge. Now, if you have any questions or if you want to submit an idea for us to talk about on the show, we want to talk about anything and everything that you might talk about life in a bar, whether it's a bargument, whether it's about how to talk to the girl, how to get the girl. Not that we can help you clearly on that, but we have some ideas.
I don't know, we might be able to.
We have a lot of different ideas, or just what beer pairs well with what food. We're very versatile guys, and we want to kind of showcase that versatility here on Liquid Kernedge.
Well, I think also over the course of our friendship, we've come up with many times where we do not see eye to eye on anything.
No.
So I think that it will give other people the opportunity to chime in, give some perspective, talk about what things they are interested in, and we can also go off that, like you said. So I'm excited about Liquid Kernedge.
Absolutely. And like I said, if you want to contact us, we are setting up our website. We are setting up email addresses, but we do have a Twitter contact right now.
Oh, okay. What is it?
We are on Twitter. We are at Liquid Kernedge. That's LIQUIDKERNEDGE.
Okay, so here's a problem.
You are not a tweeter.
I'm not a tweeter.
You are not a tweeter.
I'm a tweaker, maybe, but I'm not a tweeter.
No offense, but you are too big to be a tweaker.
So
and you have all your teeth.
For the people who are not socially active when it comes to Facebook and Twitter,
what is the purpose? Networkers.
Yeah, what is the purpose of Twitter in terms of people accessing us?
It's a great way to get a hold of us. I mean, it's on my phone.
Okay.
I use Twitter. I tweet things in my personal life. Nothing major, just musings that I come across, things I think are funny, pictures of my dog. And it's a great avenue to microblog. And a microblog is essentially your thoughts in 140 characters or less.
Only 140 characters.
140 characters.
Well, because obviously in today's political world, Twitter is a big thing now. You can always find out what the president is thinking or saying or accusing or.
Right.
But I never could understand how people use Twitter to market what we do. So I'm excited to see that part of our show.
Absolutely.
Now people can send in ideas through Twitter as well?
They can tweet us at liquidkernedge.com. Or not just Liquid Kernedge, I'm sorry. That's our website will be liquidkernedge.com. We are building that right now.
And I think we're going to have email addresses pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll have those. We'll have those. But tweet us at Liquid Kernedge. Your questions, your comments. We want to hear from you. We want to have fan interactions. Obviously, we're not a live show, but at some point we'd like to be a live show. And when that happens, maybe a live tweeting conversation is definitely a possibility. And that could get real hairy real quick. But you know what? I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think we can take it in stride and have a lot of fun and learn a lot of things from it.
All right. Well, you'll be my Twitter manager at this point.
Yeah, I guess that makes me the Liquid Kernedge social media guru.
Well, and then, at some point, if it becomes so big, then I'll get a Twitter account.
Yeah, that's right. I should point out we do have an intern that should be checking this stuff for us, but he's off playing video games down the hall.
Yeah.
and we can't get a hold of him right now. So I will take responsibility of the Twitter account for Liquid Kernedge.
All right. A great intro to Liquid Kernedge. Today, we have a lot of different topics today, but one that you and I have kind of been in agreement on until recently is I noticed that your arm is now covered with a tattoo.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It is my first piece of art on my body.
Oh, piece of art. It is art.
It is very much considered art, and depending on where you go, much like any other artist, everyone has their own styles. Everyone has their own things where they specialize in it. They do really well, and some not so well.
Well, and it's always been a thing. I do not have a tattoo.
No, but I know you've talked about it for a long time.
Yeah, and my problem is that I don't know what I love so much, what I become so attached to, that I would want to be on my body for the rest of my life.
And you and I shared that same sentiment for a very long time. And it was 4 years ago. We were on vacation in San Diego. You were on that vacation with us down to the Lawrence Welk Resort in Temecula, the wineries and Ocean Beach and all that. And we were walking through downtown Carlsbad on a Sunday night, and it was dusk. And it was really cool to see the sunset over the ocean because, out here in the desert, you don't get to see that kind of beauty. We have some beautiful sunsets here, but you don't see that kind of beauty.
Right.
And I was just walking along the pathway, the sidewalk, and I saw a kid who had a skull on his arm, and he had all the colors from the sunset, of the California sunset, with like some silhouettes of palm trees and a surfboard kind of right there, all on the forehead of the skull. And it was just the coolest tattoo I've ever seen. Like, it was just the way it was drawn, the way it was shaded, the way the colors just matched everything. I was like, God, geez, that's really cool. And it got me thinking. I was like, God, what do I want for a tattoo? I could really like something like that. Then I got to thinking about, what you said. It has to represent who you are or something you want in the rest of your life.
The rest of your life.
The rest of your life.
And at least for the first 15 days after death.
Exactly.
Unless you get embalmed.
Or cremated.
Then you get a couple weeks.
You get cremated. It's a non-issue. Okay. It's a non-issue. So it was about 2 months later. I was at a party, and my girlfriend and I were sitting on the tailgate of my truck at sunset, overlooking the Servats and Radar Hill. And you've seen the sunsets here in Kingman. They're absolutely gorgeous. When you got some clouds in the sky, sure. There's certain times of the year where there's nothing more beautiful than the oranges and the purples and the blues. And it was a very romantic moment because we were sitting on the tailgate just kind of talking about life and what we were building and just watching the sunset and all these colors come through. And I was telling her about this tattoo idea, and she just said, why don't you kind of steal it but use the Arizona sunset colors? So at that point I was like, what, that's not a bad idea. I like the idea, I like the frame, and I kind of kept that with me for a long time. And about a year and a half ago, I finally ran into a friend of mine who was married to a tattoo artist, and I got to talk to him about the idea, and he told me to come into a shop, and I went in and I told him the idea, and he started looking through Google, all these images and whatever else, and in a typical artist fashion, like he took pictures of this and that and asked me questions. I'm from Arizona. I'm an Arizona boy through and through. And the idea kind of morphed into, instead of the Arizona sunset, what if we use the Arizona flag colors? What if we, incorporated so many different ideas? And I thought about it, and I wanted to find a way to incorporate the flag and still the sunset and everything else, and just kind of the scenery. Because at the end of the day, no matter where I go, I'm from Arizona. I am from Arizona. This will always be home. I can live in Alaska. I won't live in Alaska, knock on wood. But anywhere I go in this world, this will always be a piece of me. So what we ended up getting was, or he creating on me, he did this all freehand, by the way.
Your artist did.
My artist did this all freehand, on the fly, freehand. And you can see all the different colors, the details. He essentially made an Arizona flag waving in the wind that's tattered from the Arizona winds.
Okay.
In the sunset with a monsoon kind of in the background, this lightning strikes. So it's kind of a cool homage to the skies you'd see during monsoon season here. It's just...
Well, I will say this. I mean, I think that the tattoo artists that I've seen, some of them I wouldn't pay money to have them do a tattoo on me. But these people are amazing artists.
Oh, yeah.
They are amazing artists. To be able to see something and come up with the design that person wants is amazing. I am still stuck on what do I love enough to get that I would want on my body.
Well, I think you have to find what you love. And I know you've talked about in the past, you've talked about the family tree idea, like a giant tree with the roots and the leaves. And that's a great idea. I just think you need to find that artist that can conceptualize it for you and just design it and draw it. Because I think once you see the drawing, it's a whole nother ballgame.
Okay, so now that we're talking about the idea of a tattoo, and I like the story of how the light of the sky and Arizona through and through caught you, I decided to, maybe we should give context to our discussion with some facts about tattoos. Would you like to hear something?
Yeah, give me some tattoo facts.
Okay. let's take. Did you know the Latin word for tattoo is stigma?
Really?
Yeah.
Stigma.
Stigma. Now I don't know if that means a bad stigma, a good stigma, but the Latin word for a tattoo is stigma.
Well, you know, for a long time though, there was a stigma about people with tattoos.
I always remember
that they
the
were
ones
of a lower class of life.
Like for example, we'll throw out some stereotypes. The teardrop on the below the eye. Good or bad stereotype?
That's one of my questions is stereotype. If you listen to prison lore, that means they killed somebody.
Okay, so if you have 15 of them on your cheek, don't fuck with. Don't mess with them.
You can say fuck. It's
okay,
a podcast.
don't fuck with them.
Don't fuck with them, or befriend them and just stay on their good side.
Tattoo of a spider web on the elbow.
You know, I don't know what that means. I just look at that and say, Jesus, that would hurt.
And then the infamous tramp stamp.
Oh, the tramp stamp.
So I always wonder,
every young girl's mistake.
I always wonder what a girl thinks when she gets a tramp stamp and she turns 45 and she's got this tramp stamp that started off as a little rose and now is a huge fireball.
It was a cute little butterfly and now it's Mothra from Godzilla. Man. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's, you know, and that's the thing is you can get random tattoos, but my tattoo artist put it in great context. I took a friend of mine to go meet him because she was thinking about getting a few things done, and she gave him all of her ideas, and there's like 5 or 6 ideas. She said, I wanted a feather here, then I wanted this here, then I want this, and I want that. She doesn't have any right now. And
really? None at all?
None at all.
That's okay. Now, the reason why I say that is because in the United States, 59% of people with tattoos are women.
I'd believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more and more commonplace now. You know, she's going through all these ideas with my artist, and he finally had to stop her in the middle of this conversation and said, look, if I give you all of these, well, one, he said he won't do, he's just tired of doing those. He refuses to do one, which is, you know, pretty funny in itself, but he said, if I were to do these for you, you would look like a refrigerator with magnets. And I just died laughing. But it makes sense, because if you have all these different ideas and you just put them on this part of your arm or that part of your leg or on your foot or you look like a refrigerator with a bunch of magnets on it.
And I've seen people who do that. Like they have, like yours is on the upper left arm from shoulder to mid bicep. So it's half sleeve. Yeah. I've seen people who have it on their ankle, who have it on their foot, they have it on their thigh, they have it on the, which by the way, if I can quote a movie quote from Teen Wolf, there was 3 things that the coach said you never want to do in life. Never play cards with a man who is named after a city. Never date a woman who has a tattoo of a dagger on her thigh. And always get 8 hours sleep. You follow those 3 rules and everything else is cream cheese. I butchered the line, but you got the point.
I got the point. And you know, that brings up another good question or another good topic. When you have a tattoo, it's all about placement too, man. If you could have a really cool tattoo, but if you have it in like an awkward spot, like you could be like a beautiful woman, but if you have a chest tattoo or like anything like on the upper chestal area, I can't, man. It's like no, it's weird to me. It's like a woman is a piece of art as it is, and to put art.
Oh, yeah, Scott, right, that's right. Liquid courage. That's a little. And it's great. It's
liquid courage right there.
Right
but there. But you know, a woman is a beautiful thing as it is, and to put tattoos across it, if that's your choice, man. That's great, but it's just not my thing. I don't gravitate toward that look. I prefer more subtle, tasteful, and not to say those aren't tasteful, but you don't have to be like tattooed from your neck up. But,
sure.
I do enjoy.
How much do you think Americans spend annually on tattoos?
A lot.
Give me a number.
If you get one, if the quality.
I'm sorry, annually Americans as a whole.
I'll say probably $1 billion.
$1.65 billion a year on tattoos.
I believe it. They're not cheap.
Well, and a lot of these tattoo artists do it by sitting. $400 for the 10 hours, or which
you figure is between $50 and $100 per sitting or per hour, I should say. And then when you do that, you have to break it down, per hour. And also, if you're gonna get a tattoo, make sure you check his work. They can have a portfolio you want, but have some references, man. Like, do you have anybody here that can show me like what it looks like a month later or even like 5 years later? Because colors fade, some colors don't take, and you can have the coolest picture you want you want to put on your body, and they can completely just fuck it up.
Oh man, I see some of these people do it in the worst areas. The area like the elbow, the back of the arm, the skull. Well, how do you get a tattoo on the skull and handle the pain on your skull?
I don't know if the skull would hurt that bad.
You don't?
Because the back, the back of my arms, is covered, and it's not. That didn't hurt. The inside of your arm hurts, and that's the next piece of this to get done. I've been putting it off.
Okay.
Because everyone says that hurts the most.
Ugh.
And
yeah.
I'm in no hurry for that kind of pain.
Did you know that urine is sometimes used to mix tattoo color?
Urine is.
Yeah.
Well, was it like
urine, like pee?
Well, yeah, I understand.
I don't think
urine
they do
is.
it now, but in the olden days, what's the worst tattoo you've ever seen?
Oh my god!
I remember one specifically. I don't know what it was. If there was a time in history where the color palette of tattoos was
limited.
Was green, basically.
Yeah. Grayscale, yeah.
Grayscale. And there was a girl who had a frog on her upper left chest.
Mm-hmm.
That when she wore like a sleeveless dress, you could see the frog, and it was that nasty greenish gray. It had no color. It looked like someone was in prison and had come up with a concoction to make it, and it was so disgusting, and it didn't help the girl.
Oh, no.
Now I know that frog meant something to her, but I just
like I said, placements, everything. Like, I have a friend. She's coming to the show later on.
Okay.
She has a really cool heart tattoo with a saying, like right above, like right on her collarbone, right below her, and it's very well done. It's very tasteful, and I like that. It's a cool tattoo for what it is because it means something to her, and it's in a nice spot. It's not like emblazoned across her entire chest and up and down, because that's just weird. And that goes back to what I said earlier. It's just not. It's not cool, man. It just doesn't look. It's not my thing. It's to someone else it is, and that's great. But to me, it's not. I couldn't.
They say that in the United States right now, approximately, there's 40 million people who have a tattoo. That's 15% of the population.
I believe it.
That's a lot.
And if you walk around, you see people, and I'll be honest, once you get a tattoo, you notice them a lot more. You see things, you take more notice of, like the quality, the colors, what the designs are. You take that interest because it's almost like being part of a club. And you want to see what everyone had to do to get into that club.
Wow. Did you notice the oldest physical body in existence to have the tattoo was 3300 BC?
No.
Frozen guy in the Iceman got stuck, and he had a black cross tattooed on the inside of his left knee.
Oh.
Yeah.
A black cross?
A black cross, of all things, yeah. Tattooed on the inside of his left knee, 6 straight lines on his lower back, and parallel lines on his ankles, legs, and wrists.
So he had
when scientists x-rayed his body, they discovered joint disease under each tattoo, which suggests the tattoos were meant to relieve pain.
So what you're saying is he had the world's first tramp stamp.
He had a lot. He had a bit of a very odd tramp stamp, though. It would be like 3 of those, and it would be really nasty, but... Well, that was a nice change. The dogs came in. They were nice dogs.
Yeah. I should point out that we are filming in my front office, or filming. We are recording in my front office, and I do have 3 small dogs that have anxiety when their dad is in the house but not around them. So they were scratching at the door, and it's easier to let them in, see what's going on, then they'll leave and go play out in the living room.
Wow. Well, there you go. See, the dogs are there. And tattoos have been around for quite a long time. I mean, they've been around a long time. Is there ever a moment where a tattoo looks sexy on a woman?
Absolutely.
When is a tattoo most sexy to you?
For me, a full sleeve. Like
really?
when a woman, oh my god, I love a woman with a full sleeve. It's like it's hard to say. Wow. It's just see how flushed it just got right there.
Yeah, boy, it got warm in here.
Yeah, man, it got real warm real quick. But like a woman with like a full sleeve tattoo, I always just I think it's cool. I think it's the coolest thing. And you know, when you take care of yourself and you show off your upper arms or whatever else, and you've got like just that full sleeve on there, you're not afraid. Just to let it fly, man. It's cool. It's a lot of confidence, and those are very confident women that have those. So I have to really appreciate it.
Okay, all right. I kind of more the subtle one. Like my girlfriend's got a tattoo in a place that no one knows it's there except someone she's intimate with. And at this point, I don't even recognize it anymore. But when I first saw her in a swimsuit, I never even knew she had it. And seeing one where you don't expect a girl to have one, and then she has one, you're like, ooh. See, I like that shock value of saying, oh my gosh, you don't have oh, you do have a tattoo.
It's a little bit of an edginess to it, though, you know?
And I kind of like the ones where you don't see them, but they're in a place where once you do see them,
you're like, oh,
yeah, baby.
Yeah.
You had the liquid Kernedge in you, man. You had the liquid Kernedge in you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's just my thought on tattoos. It's a great art. It's an art you can take with you everywhere. And you have I'm a big man. I'm 6'1", I'm 250 pounds. There's a lot of me. And if I'm gonna put it on, like the tattoo on me, the art on me, I want to make sure it's quality. I want to make sure that it looks good, and I want to make sure it has a story. I don't want to be a refrigerator with a bunch of magnets on it. I want to make sure that the piece I have now, it represents who I am, and I'm not done adding on to that because there's gonna be more aspects of my life that I'm gonna want to add.
And do you think that for you, your tattoo represents your love of Arizona?
Yeah, I'm an Arizona boy. It represents it's home. It's always going to be home.
Are you going to go to the same artist?
If I can for this piece, yes. But I do have a plan for my other arm that's going to take us traveling across the state, if you will, to add different pieces to it.
All right. Because I have a question about this because, a lot of employers feed into the stereotype of tattoos that it's dirty, it's not what they want to see in the workplace, same as, piercings and ear gauges.
Kind of like covered up, right.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on a work employer saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to see your tattoo. If I see your tattoo, you're not going to work here.
It's every good question. Every employer has a different view on it, and tattoos are becoming more and more commonplace. Maybe it's just the generations, or just people have them. You can't judge a person by their tattoos. You don't know the education level they have. You don't know where they've been or what they've done. But if they're qualified for the job and they get the job done right for it, I don't care how many tattoos or piercings you have.
Really?
If you're good with your customers, if you're good at your job, I don't give a shit what you have tattooed or pierced on your body.
Do your parents care if you have tattoos?
My mom was. My mom's crazy. I love her, but man, some of the stuff she comes up with. She was a nurse for 40 years, so she in the ER no less. So she's seen it all, been through it all. And I told her, and then it was obviously you'll get Hep C, yada yada yada. Then it was you can catch Ebola from a tattoo, so make sure you don't catch Ebola from a tattoo because people are coming back with Ebola from Africa that have tattoos. And
so
there's a little bit of a reach.
Okay. A
little bit of a reach for her, and she got her point across. I didn't listen.
Yeah.
Because it's just fucking nutty. But
okay, so you
didn't slow me down.
You understand, yeah, that some people, like I used to always get upset at people who would say, well, they're discriminating against me at work because I have a tattoo. Yeah, I mean,
no,
I guess there is a limit. There is an image that you have to portray, and sometimes that image doesn't require a tattoo.
Absolutely.
Like your tattoo, you can wear long sleeve shirts.
I can wear a regular short sleeve shirt to work, a polo shirt, and it hides it.
Nah, for the most part, I see it.
A little bit sticks out.
I see it. I see him in a polo shirt. I see a little color.
It looks
like it's covered for the most part.
Yeah, mine is 95% covered, and the parts that stick out, honestly, that's just there because it adds intrigue. It makes people say, "Oh, what do you have?" There is a rhyme and a reason for that. It's a conversation starter.
Hey, I'll be honest. I used to say I would never marry a tattooed lady.
Yeah.
And up until this recent girlfriend that I'm with now, I was never long term with a girl who had a tattoo.
Oh man, I think most of the women I've dated all have tattoos.
Really?
And not because I go out looking for that, just because that's just the age
you
we're
like
in.
That girl.
Just the age we're in.
You like that girl.
Yeah, well, it just turns out I like that girl. It's been something that's grown on me. I lived with a woman for 3 years, and she had a beautiful rose tattooed down the side of her torso, and yeah,
like down the side from like armpit down the rib cage.
Yeah.
Was that hard? Was it hurt?
Because
it says here that receiving a tattoo has been described as similar to getting stung by a bee or a sunburn. Would that be how you describe the pain or the sensation?
In some areas.
Okay.
The first stick is always the most anxious because you're like, God, just hurry up. But once it gets going, mine didn't hurt at all. Wow. I mean, there were a few parts where it pinched a little bit, but it became therapy after a while. I've had a rough couple weeks, I needed to unwind. My artist I'd get in the chair, he'd start going, and I wouldn't feel anything. It would just relieve all the stress. It would just everything you had pent up in your body would just almost melt away.
Wow.
You're not thinking about it, you're just going.
You're just going with the flow.
Yeah. Oh, our intern is home.
Oh my gosh, the intern just walked in.
The intern is here.
That's our buddy JP. He's going to be our intern. Did you know that rocker Tommy Lee was entered in the 2007 Guinness Book of World Records when he became the first man to be tattooed in midair during a private flight to Miami?
Wow.
See, you could have had that going.
The not local artists, but the new artist 21 Pilots actually tattooed each other on stage last year, as an homage to everything they've done. Our intern has a few tattoos. He actually has a sweet and sour chicken tattooed on his arm, written in Chinese.
You got to always be careful with those Chinese characters. Right? I know it means strength and honor or something like that, but you got to be careful of those. Johnny Depp once said, though, that my body is my journal and my tattoos are my story.
Oh, Johnny Depp, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's so deep. Disney gave him how much money for the next Captain Jack Sparrow adventure?
He's going to need it. $2 million a month he spends. He's going to need that money, I tell you.
Oh, my. Who could spend $2 million a month on what?
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? You think about it now. If you won $1 million right now, how far would that take you?
Before or after
Would you be able to retire? Would you be able to retire?
On $1 million? No.
Well, yeah,
No.
So $2 million a month, you'd have to make at least $25 million a year. Johnny Depp's a good actor, but he's not that good.
He's still making that movie, though. You got to figure back end on Pirates of the Caribbean and whatever he's making now for new movies.
That might be true. Pemberton, how many tattoos you got?
He's got 4.
Holy shit! And do you have a problem with a girl having a tattoo? No problem at all. He said no problem at all.
See?
He says the more the merrier.
Maybe that's just a generational thing. Maybe not to say that you're in a different generation, but you
you
are definitely a Gen Xer, and I am on the cusp of Gen Y and millennials.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
And that's what I think that's what the difference is. It's just a philosophy in life.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that I think you're right. I think you're right there. But I will say that artists make a big difference. I want to pay homage to those artists out there who do amazing things with tattoos because,
absolutely.
Without these tattoo artists, it's some of these things would look so horrible that. I guess that's just a dumb statement. They're just amazing artists. They're amazing artists. What they can do with a needle and a machine.
Absolutely, and always, like I said, when you're getting a tattoo done, check the artist's work. Just see what he's done. Mm-hmm. It's like anything else, man. You wouldn't hire a contractor without looking at his body of work.
Okay, so how do you find a good tattoo artist?
You know what I started by doing is asking people with tattoos that you like. You look. I like your tattoo. Who did yours? Oh, I went to so-and-so in this city. I went to so-and-so in that city. I was at the Lake Havasu Beer and Brat Festival on Saturday. Okay. And there's this couple that came up, and this woman had a tattoo of an owl on her forearm, and a very cool. It was done in watercolor, which is a style of tattoo. So it's almost like the watercolor paint. And the way this guy shaded the watercolor blue, like he had put a couple like specks of blue, almost like paint drops around the owl itself that looked really cool and looked just like watercolor. It was just the neatest. It had the neatest effect. And I asked her, like, "Where'd you get it?" She goes, "I went to Orlando." And this guy's so hard to get into. I'm lucky I have 2 tattoos from him, but I won't let anybody else touch me. I will travel around the world, and only this guy will be able to tattoo me because I believe in his work that much.
And frankly, if you get a good tattoo artist, probably the most important thing is to get one that you trust. It's like a doctor. It's like anything else.
Exactly.
You gotta get one that
you have to trust them. You have to be able to have an open dialogue with them, saying, "Man, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I want to do. Is this a good idea?" And they can look at you and say, "Yeah, we can do that," or "No, you're an idiot." And I bounce a lot of ideas off my artist, and he's like, "No, we're not doing that," or "No, we're not doing that," or "What if we took that idea and we evolved it into this?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you just have to trust that they have a vision for what they can do because they know their limitations and that they can help you get to where you want to be.
All right. Well, there you have it. I mean, we've got the first stories out. I mean, we got 30 minutes on this thing.
Wow, man, that's
30 minutes on tattoos. I didn't think that was even possible.
I didn't think so either. I thought we were gonna have a 10-minute conversation.
But I will say this: having access to these fun facts made it.
Yeah, I will say that I feel like that you dropped in fun facts, but I do want to know though, when can we count on having Jason Edgeworth tattooed to talk about here on Liquid Kernedge?
That's a great story. I don't know. Because the tattoo that I want to get is symbolic of a life lesson that I learned during one of my darkest times in this world. And but unfortunately, part of my tattoo, I want to have snow on a dead tree, and unfortunately, white on white doesn't work. Well, my skin is so white that it would look like there was nothing there. So
you're Scottish, so you're pretty pasty.
Yeah, I found out I did one of those genetic things.
Yeah.
And found out that I was Scottish, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, it never hurts to go and talk to an artist and see what they can do. You never know what you can find. Or maybe they can work with the tree to make your skin look like the snow.
Maybe,
yeah.
Maybe,
Who knows?
I don't know. We'll see.
It's worth looking into.
I will say this. One final note.
Final fun fact.
Final fun fact. Toy maker Mattel had introduced the Butterfly Art Barbie in 1999, which featured a butterfly tattoo on the doll's stomach. Temporary tattoos were also provided for the doll's owners. However, it was discontinued after receiving complaints from parents. So see, we still have this age gap.
Well, when you start putting a tramp stamp on Barbie, and Barbie's already...
Well, it wasn't a tramp stamp. It was a stomach stamp.
I mean, what's the difference if you're putting a butterfly on your torso? What's the difference?
I personally would rather have a tramp stamp than a butterfly stamp over my belly button.
That's true. On your stomach's
I'm not a
just
big fan
weird.
of that.
That's weird because as you, and especially in the women, as you have children or as you that butterfly is going to expand and retract. And I don't want to be rude about this, but that can't ladies, if you're gonna get this at a young age, just think. What's it gonna look like when you're 40?
I know.
What's it gonna look like when you're 40? It's like having someone's name tattooed on you. Never have anyone's name tattooed unless it's your child that no matter what will always be in your life. Do not ever have someone's name tattooed on you.
Why not?
It's like
if you love someone, why not have Jasmine on your chest?
Well,
and then scratch it off, Barbara, and then scratch it off.
And if that's your bag, if you think that's funny, and the women you're with think that's hilarious, then I say go for it, man.
What would you do if you found out the love of your life had John tattooed on her body somewhere?
Is it still visible, or has it been covered up? Because you can do a lot of
cover.
cover.
It's still visible. I mean, it's still there. She didn't get it replaced.
I would ask her to consider covering that up, since my name is not, in fact, John.
What do you think, JP? What do you think? Would that be a deal breaker for you?
If a woman you're dating, you're engaged to, you're gonna get married. You are fine. Someone has finally tamed the savage beast that is Jason Pemberton, and she has Steven written across her arm, not her son.
Big distinction.
Not her father, her ex, who at the time was the love of her life when she was 18 years old. And now she's the ripe old age of,
what does the ripe old age? 35.
35. And she still has Steven written on her arm, and she hadn't been with Steven since she was 21 years old. Are you okay with that? Or would you hope that she would want to get that covered up? And if she wanted to get it covered up with, I don't know, Jason written across her arm, is that okay? Or do you want to say no to that?
I would assume she'd already have it covered up. If she didn't have it,
is that a red flag?
It would be a suggestion. Hey, maybe you might want to get that covered up. Or how come you've never had it?
So you have to gently broach that to her.
Ah, gosh, yeah.
I think that's another topic we have to talk about, are red flags.
Well, I think our next podcast may have to deal with deal breakers.
Next segment might be about deal breakers or red flags.
Deal breakers, I'm telling you. Hey, tattoos. I don't know when Jason's going to get one. We'll end with this. I don't know when Edgeworth's going to get one, but when he does,
I would like to.
He'll make sure to let everyone know.
I would like to be there for that, because I'll get one right next to you.
Okay, well,
I will be in the chair next to you, getting my next.
Who
piece.
knows? Maybe it'll be Liquid Kernedge.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll just get Liquid Kernedge put on my.
That's the kiss of death, my friend. That's if you put someone you love on your arm, you might as well start the ticker on when it ends. And I don't want this to end.
Okay, well, let's call it a wrap for this one. Thanks, people, for listening.
No problem. This is just our thoughts on tattoos.
Tattoos. These every week, every couple days, we'll be working on new ideas. But feel free to give us notice on at Liquid Kernedge on Twitter. Mm-hmm. We'll look forward to getting some email addresses out to you, maybe in the next couple segments.
We're gonna take a quick break, refill our beers, and talk about a few things. But I really do want to get into deal breakers and red flags when we get back. I think that's another conversation that has a lot of ground to cover and can go in a lot of different directions. And we might have a female guest at this point come in that can give us some insight to that as well.
Oh, we might even get Pemberton involved in this.
That's true. This could be a giant panel conversation by the time it's all said and done.
This is Jason.
I'm Scott.
And if you never know what to say,
just
take a little bit of Liquid Kernedge, baby.
We'll be right back.